Today I'm here with Andy Spence and Alex Crosby. Now these two have been using the Agile Coaching Growth Wheel for a while. I think I first talked to Andy about the Agile Coaching Growth Wheel very early on when I was working with him in the same client. Now you've been working with the wheel both on individual growth and the growth of your team, and also using it in some innovative ways to kind of move forward and look at career paths and stuff like this. So welcome for today, and looking forward to exploring the wheel with you. Why don't you tell me a bit more about how you've used the wheel?
So when we took the wheel apart, we first looked at it, found out maybe you could just use the wheel itself and kind of evaluate yourself. But we decided to actually go a bit whole hog into the process. So we looked through each kind of competency and literally analyzed from like all the way through to an advanced state, like where we were on that journey for each one. So what we did as a group is we decided to spend a bit of time on it. And for some of us, it took us weeks. For some of us, it took us a good solid focus of a few days. And we went through each one and really, really analyzed where we thought we were. And what was really important was that we put a set bit of criteria on it, which was like when we scored ourselves, if we didn't meet the full criteria in each space, then you only scored yourself up into the area where you met the most points, if that makes sense. That's how we used it. And the reason why I think that was helpful for us is that it really helped us to find small blind spots. Like, I don't really know much about that. I can't explain this method or this particular system, or I couldn't particularly articulate that. Maybe it's a quick win. It's something we do, but we've never really looked into. And I thought it was really powerful to highlight those blind spots for us. And that's how we went about using it. Was we use it kind of additively rather than subtracting, So we were like, let's really see where we need to grow in it. Because the other thing is what we found, what was interesting is if you like, maybe we scored across each level of competency all the way up to advanced, but we didn't meet all the criteria. So we would then come back to the place where we did meet it all and then figure out next steps to go from maybe practitioner to an advanced or an intermediate state or something. So that's how we used it.
Yeah, and so using it like that, kind of what stood out for you?
I think a couple of things. So first off, the guided learning competency really stood out for me. That's something I'm really interested in, is learning theory and everything around that. And so it was great to see that included. I think that's often missed out on a lot of coaching materials like this, agile coaching materials, and so that was wonderful to see. It's great to dig nice and deep into that. I think the other element that stood out to me was it's very humbling. It really gets you to challenge yourself, and it really gets you to think hard and really identify areas of improvement. It's for no one but yourself, right? This agile coaching growth wheel. It's not, and so you can score yourself to the top level catalyst on each section, but to whose value, right? To what value is that? And so you really to get good use out of it, you really challenge yourself, you really think hard, and you really identify fantastic areas of growth, and it's extremely powerful in that way. That really stood out to me.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I'm making a bit of an assumption with the next question, but so assuming that it has raised the bar a bit, how has the Agile Coaching Growth Wheel raised the bar in your organization?
The bar has been raised from the fact that I think Alex has mentioned that humbling approach, and it really puts you back to where you need to improve. And for the organization, what it then allowed us to do, because what we did is we took it individually, each one of us dissected it personally, got our own scores, and then we verified it with each other, and we then scored that together, and said, right, what are common areas? So, example, coaching was a particular area, or facilitation or guided learning in Alex's example. And it was quite nice to see other people had elements of that as well. So from a collective standpoint, it's like, well, why don't we all go create some modules or some learning, or go on a course together, or go and do something that then increases our skills in that space. And that allowed, so in coaching, like whilst one was maybe on mindset, the other was on skills, they could then collaborate around that, and that was really nice. So from an organizational standpoint, it created a team dynamic in terms of increasing and growing your capability. But it also then gave you personal goals, because maybe there was something maybe around transformation that was something personal to someone. No one else was really targeting it, but that was something else you could do in the background. So it created this kind of intrinsic motivation, but also how to work together as a team to grow the organization's collective goals. So where have we gotten to since we ran that? I think each one of us has maybe taken a small step in each one of those spaces. Just the awareness of knowing where those blind spots are has helped us to increase our capability. We also have a program internally that's helping people become better trainers and things like that. So we've seen huge growth in that space, especially on the guided learning. And I think Alex has been pulling a lot of that stuff in. And that's been really powerful. And you can see it binds that intrinsic motivation that then brings you to that kind of team ethic. And I think that's been, again, as we say the word powerful a lot, but it is. It's been incredibly eye-opening. Brings a lot of transparency to where there's opportunity.
Why don't you start maybe talking about what you've been doing on top of the wheel and how you've taken it forward?
Yeah. So, well, obviously, we one of the things this inspired us to do was we wanted to kind of offer this a similar template to the way we approached it. And so this is just a bit of a guide, but obviously the difference in approach is we do a bit of a holistic view into this, the growth wheel. That's very different. Take it as you wish. We found this very, very powerful for us. Use it as you will, but we think that this is the right way to go about it for us. But so we kind of said, well, you look at the criteria, you have a look, so against emotional intelligence, whatever, there's certain sets of criteria. Do you meet all of those? And if it was, then if you did, and you kind of moved up the chain, so like then score yourself, grab an orange post-it note as a kind of, I meet some but not all, and then copy and paste the things into that post-it note that you think could do with some improvement. So it's simple as that. Literally grab it from the PDF, stick it in there, and then up to where you need to get to, and then give yourself a score, like to what level did you get to. And so we met level 1 on that one, because that's what we're saying. If you're not meeting all criteria, score yourself at your strongest point. Okay, it's not a perfect science. We get that, because if you look at this example, this personal emotional intelligence is scoring on multiple levels. But what we're saying is you still need to get some basics from 2 before you can get to 3 or 4. So we're saying you're strongest at 1. Why don't you get yourself 1? You clear up those bits in 2 to give yourself your 2. That's the way we're looking at it. So additive, like add what you need as you go. Yeah. So that's the way we use it. And so Alex has very kindly created this incredible template that we use. You give yourself a score, do the whole thing. It may take you several sessions. It may take you or a day. It's up to you. For us, some of our members, it took us a few weeks because they had to get time in between their work to try and work on this and really focus in on it. But it's an investment. So, use all the time you need. Then you score yourself. Get yourself whatever scores you've got. And our advice then for ourselves was that anything that's maybe on a 0, 1, or 2, maybe that's your first starting point, right? Take the yellow post-it notes at the next level up, copy that across. And then we created a little matrix, and it was like, well, grab those items in and say, okay, so do you think this is there to help you alone in your personal journey? Is this here to help your organization that you're working at? Or does it hit a bit of both? So, you can then utilize your post-it notes and it's like use the matrix. And obviously, if it's not doing anything, then maybe it's not something for you right now. Maybe it's something you can focus on later. But then maybe take the top 3 and the ones that hit the highest value for you. Then, simply we've got a bit of a goal template here. Put your goals in, set yourself some goals, set yourself some targets, and maybe even set yourself a small Kanban board into achieving those goals. It's hopefully relatively straightforward, but it's there to just help you. And again, it's great to we've been doing it in peer reviews myself, Alex, Gavin, Ladan, other people from our team, Calvin as well. We've all been kind of holding each other to account on these things, and it's been really powerful. And that is available in the Miraverse. I don't. So you apply that as a template in the Miraverse. So and something that's had some good traction as well, Alex. I mean, last I checked,
it's doing well.
Over 250 views or uses or something. It was looking pretty good. Probably even more since then. So as long as it's helping.
Thank you very much, Andy and Alex, for sharing your thoughts and your growth using the wheel. So thank you for talking to me.